I'm Kim Novak. I'm the founder and president of SHALE, and I come here with 35 years of experience in special ed. I'm currently teaching in Lake Bluff. I've been there for over 20 years, and prior to that, I was in Evanston at Park School for 12 years, and then stayed home with my two boys for a few years in between. So I started SHALE with the idea that knowing that there just wasn't an outlet for parents like this. I've always enjoyed working with parents, and I just it was always that there's a parent meeting to learn about, your child's vocational program or their educational program or recreation program, but nothing really strictly for parents, and to just support parents as parents. So that's my purpose here. Here's our mission statement: is to support families with children or adults with intellectual, emotional, or physical disabilities. This group provides a research-based model of sharing personal experiences with the intention of providing emotional support for their individual situation and enlightenment through the sharing of hope and loving experiences. I come here along with my professional years in special education as a sister of Ellen, who I was telling you was one of the first members of the Center for Enriched Living back in like 1968 in Chicago. As well as my mom's youngest sister had Down syndrome. So I just grew up with people with disabilities my whole life. It was just part of my life. And again, I just was embedded in that world, and hence became a special ed teacher, and then also, like I said, started SHALE. Hi, welcome. I'm Kim. Here we have a seat right here for you. Hi, and you're Cindy. Thank you. I was just starting to explain a little bit about SHALE. Is that our purpose is to help parents. That I know there are a lot of different outlets for parents to support your kids, but the purpose of SHALE is to really support you. Here, growing up, my mom had always said that I realized as an adult that that she had always said to turn her challenges over to a higher power, and I didn't realize until more recently in my life that that's something that's very strong with Alcoholics Anonymous, to turn your life over, turn your challenges over to a higher power. And it's something that we talk a lot about, certainly not to push any type of religion on you, but just using the research-based information of believing in a higher power, believing in another entity to help you get through the most challenging times can certainly be very helpful. Along with coming from the world of special ed, I also come from the world of addiction. That my son suffered from addiction for over 15 years, and as a result of that, I was in Al-Anon, and I realized that through Al-Anon, the kind of the same idea of sharing hope and sharing triumphs as well as challenges, how that program has been so successful for peoples of families suffering from addiction, and again, that there was nothing like that at all for parents of children with disabilities. So my goal was to take those two the background of those two entities of special education, along with just a general support group of people in a similar situation, to work together to help each other, and by sharing the idea of sharing your own hope and loving experiences to help other people. Here, when I think about serenity, I think about sunsets. Just have always been my thing. Kind of here are my two of my most favorite, and thinking about how we just all seek serenity in our lives, and that the idea of that finding serenity in our own lives by having the opportunity to talk about our challenges. Children of all ages can be a challenge, and a child with a disability presents with its own challenges. So every one of you who are here who have experienced that know, I certainly know from my experience through my sister, as well as I see it through just my daily life still teaching. Spiritual strength can help in times of challenges, and that's something that certainly we're going to be working on, and to think about finding our own serenity. And one of the ways that we do this at every meeting is with a breathing exercise. So if you think about just taking 1 minute out of your day, again, it sounds like so long when we're just all sitting here, and to stop, and it can really be beneficial just to help you relax in any times of stress, or not, just to say, okay, I need a minute to myself, and it truly is just a minute. The goal of sharing hope and loving experiences is to empower you as parents with a child with a disability to find your own inner peace, so that you may further share that inner peace with your child and your families by moving towards taking control of our lives, uh, and along with acceptance, courage, wisdom, humor, spiritual strength of your own personal understanding, and detaching with love, while leading toward a change in attitude, gathering specific support staff or agencies to meet your individual needs, taking one step at a time, finding gratitude and humor while celebrating all the triumphs. We can build our own inner peace in sharing our own hopes and loving experiences. So that is our goal. Here we have our topic list that we address at our meetings. Um, we have 5 meetings coming up for the season. Every season we have, it's kind of varied over the years. When I started, we did a meeting every month, and then I found a lot of parents, in the winter months, it was just too much, and certainly over the holiday time. So I have found the last few years that the idea of 5 meetings, and we've extended. We used to strictly be an hour. Now we have an hour and a half to have our meeting time. So it seems to be a good model that's been working. We have several members who have been coming since SHALE started in 2018, and that, that kind of come and go. They know what it's about, and it's the best thing is, just everyone to be able to share their wisdom of any time or any moment, what's going on with them. So here are our topics: taking control of your life and finding serenity. And we'll go through each of these topics in more detail in the upcoming slides. Acceptance, attitude, and courage to change the things I can. The wisdom in building structure. And then detaching with love. And then our last meeting focuses on humor, gratitude, and a time to celebrate. So starting with again, to remember that the idea of these meetings is to address the support for you as parents. Through loving support for yourself, your child will benefit, and all your family will benefit. Oops, we did the relaxing breath already. Sorry, I didn't go mix it up a little. Um, uh, Part of the serenity prayer is what we think about. I certainly learned that through Al-Anon. Again, it's not meant to be pushing religion at all on anybody. It's just the idea of acknowledging that there's a larger strength outside of our own bodies. And that prayer is, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So we look at this, accepting the things we cannot change. There's so many things we cannot change. Some easy examples are the weather, but we also can't change any person. A lot of people, a lot of us as parents think that we can fix our children, or if we do this, then that will happen. Once our kids get to a certain age, and certainly same for adults with disabilities, everybody has their own idea of what they want to be doing, and to try to accept that as much, and to encourage that as much. So that's something we certainly talk a lot about. So accepting the things I cannot change, but what we can always change is our attitude. So we can, from a cold, snowy day, we can watch our kids make a snowman. I don't know that I wanna be out there, but watch our kids make one, and certainly finding the rainbow after the rain. Courage to change the things we can. Here's my son after a very devastating accident, and him, doing everything he could to build his life back. And again, it's just taking the attitude and saying, everybody has challenges, but it's a matter of how we have that attitude and taking the courage to change. And the wisdom to know the difference is big, and that's a lot where SHALE comes in, is that, accepting that we can't make the changes in other people, and then um, taking the wisdom from the group. That I used to think of wisdom as something out there until I kind of fell into this world of support groups, and that I always think, that it was a professional who had to, for example, a social worker or a psychologist was the only one who could really provide the wisdom, which I've learned over the years. It's really the wisdom of the group of people who have lived experiences similar to you that can really make the difference in your life. And just it's amazing over the years, the meetings that, that come up, that someone's looking for, a certain type of attorney or a certain type of advocate, and there'll be somebody there, oh yeah, and that they have a name, and it can just be so helpful to people. Um, we move on then. With our topic of building structure, we all live in structure and as adults, and it's just so important for kids to have that structure at any age. It's important for us to have it as adults, and it's important for, um, again, like I said, kids from a young age, and certainly through our children into their adult life. Detached with love is a big one. I remember, and it's in my book, and we talk about a lot that when I was young, like in my early 20s and teaching in Evanston, and there was a parent of a child that I worked with who the child was early teens at the time, and it was a family who had a single child, and the only child had Down syndrome, and that mom was just sure that by the time her child was 25, that he was gonna be living on his own, and he was. It's a mindset of thinking that I'm gonna raise my child the same as any typical child. Just because they have a disability, it doesn't mean they need to stay home with me until I can't function anymore, because it's just, part of life, and our members with disabilities want that. They want that independence just the same as any of us wanted that independence growing up. And then we have gratitude, which, the idea that when we're in the mindset of being grateful, it's hard to think of challenges often, and to really find, people who we're grateful for, find situations that we're grateful for. I know myself personally, I'm just not a morning person, so every morning when I'm driving to work, I'm thankful for whatever's happening outside, and thankful for the opportunity to be going to a great place. So, um, and with that, we're all gonna take a minute here to think about someone that you're grateful for, and to take out your phones and to text them, and you can tell them or not why you're thanking. You can say it's, I'm at a meeting and we're talking about gratitude, or you can just tell them thank you for whatever you wanna thank them for. So I'll pause here for a few minutes and let you do that. We'll say like 2 minutes here, I think. Whoops. Okay, that's just about 2 minutes, so we'll stop there. All right, so again, just how, being gratitude and or thinking of moments and times to find gratitude in our days can really just help our whole mindset as well. And humor. So, benefits of humor include reduction of muscle tension, stimulation of the cardiovascular system, and production of beta endorphins, which induce euphoria. In addition, humor can relieve anxiety, distress, anger, and depression. We'll focus on finding humor whenever and wherever you can and share our different stories. I know there are certainly many in my life growing up, thanks to my sister. So, and she'd be laughing right along with us. So um, and we combine our gratitude, humor, and then celebration, that those three topics at the end, and just reasons to celebrate because we all have them. Life doesn't have to be the former ideas of perfect. And that's at our last meeting we talk about to celebrate and to think about that. And then the whole idea is that to not worry about what we've done in the past, not worry about what tomorrow will bring, but just to take one step at a time and appreciate the moment. Through our meetings, like I said, that we certainly share ideas. You know, I come with ideas, but certainly all of you as parents have a wealth of ideas and wisdom as well to share. Um, Again, we focus on our serenity and thinking about the purpose of SHALE, that we build our inner peace by sharing our hope and loving experiences, by listening to the hope and loving experiences of others. Here are just some logistics of our meetings that typically meetings last about an hour long. That again, that we focus on um, minimally two topics, and everything's listed in the flyers here. We begin with our calming breathing exercise. Then we focus on the topic. We talk about a mindset is on each for each topic, and then to have the opportunity to share experiences related to topics. There's no crosstalk, meaning that if one person is talking, that you don't get into conversations at that moment. But then after the meeting, certainly that there's always time to get into any deeper conversation. Everything we say is confidential. That's just really, really important that, that for your benefit, that what's said within the room stays within the room, and that we all respect that of each other as well. And then that we end with the Serenity Prayer by Robert Niebuhr, and reflect on someone to whom you're grateful. So we kind of did everything in a nutshell. And here is the contact information. Like I said, I've got flyers. I've got cards here. I do have a book manual that we follow through. I always have complimentary copies at our meeting that you're welcome to use, and you're welcome to purchase one as well. So that's it.